I'm especially delighted to be here this evening, once again, in your company. I would first of all like to apologize for the Honorable Prime Minister, who is absent this evening. And I've been asked by the Honorable Prime Minister to deliver what I consider a few brief remarks on his behalf at this evening's 34th Annual Private Sector Banquet. As I speak to you this evening, we are approximately halfway through our 5-year contract with the people. And I can wholeheartedly say, and to all right-thinking citizens and residents, it is pellucidly clear that your team unity government has operated and will continue to operate at peak performance in fulfilling our good governance and prosperity agenda. Dr. Ken Ravisa, a well-respected sports psychologist who works with professional teams, has said, and I quote, that peak performance in life isn't about succeeding at all times and at everything, or even about being happy all of the time. It's often about compensating, adjusting, and doing the very best with what we have right now. End of quote. Your noted guest speaker tonight, Mr. Walter Bond, a former NBA player who now gives motivational speeches about peak performance mindset, would no doubt be familiar with Dr. Ravisa. Upon entering office in February of 2015, our government did the best that we could do at that time with what we met. We compensated, we acted judiciously so as to neutralize and correct any deficiencies and address the various myriad of concerns. And we made adjustments to meet the challenges that we were facing. 2.5 years later, we can all see the fruits of the government's labor. The Team Unity government inherited, as some political commentators would have described, a very challenging time. A time that when our CBI looked as though it was a pariah citizenship by investment program, one that attracted the censure of the United States Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, better known as FinCEN. FinCEN warned the world in 2014 in May that illicit actors were abusing our CBI program. And then 6 months later, the Canadian government, citing concerns about the issuance of passports and identity management practices within the CBI, well known, revoked our visa-free status to Canada. The past government was then forced in December 2014 to recall St. Kitts and Nevis passports issued prior to July of 2014, which did not show the place of birth of persons to whom the passports were issued. Our government took the decision then to deactivate all passports by the former government without the country of birth field, more than some 15,000 of them. All such holders were asked to reapply for a new passport that contains the relevant country of birth field and, of course, a payment subsequent to that. This, of course, is an imperative to safeguard the integrity of our passport, to comply with international best practices, and to satisfy our commitment to being a responsible member of the international community. Just halfway through our contract with the people, the government has drawn commendations from the Caribbean Development Bank, from the East Caribbean Central Bank, from ECLAC, from the IMF, and our diplomatic partners and a number of other international agencies. The CBI Index, which was launched just this month by Professional Wealth Management, a publication of the Financial Times, acknowledges that our Citizenship by Investment program is an industry leader. Pitted against some 11 countries that populate the CBI industry, St. Kitts and Nevis finished on the top in the due diligence component, as well as in speed and ease of processing applications and the mandatory travel or residence requirements. What's more is that St. Kitts and Nevis is the only CBI program with the ability, as it stands now, to fast-track applications and deliver their new passports within a definite time frame. Titled the Accelerated Application Process, the feature ensures a 60-day turnaround. When we got into office, one of our first priorities was to significantly reduce the backlog, which we have done at this present time. To achieve this, cold files were attended to on a daily basis. The management and the staff were there 7 days a week processing application. What's more, with the expert guidance of the CIU's new CEO, Mr. Les Can, we introduced a 24/7 case management system, allowing service providers to digitally access information on the status of their applications. We added a level of accountability to the CBI in more ways than one. For instance, our program became the first and the only CBI program to conduct a look back of all applications which were approved over the last 8 years. The Federation has instituted an ongoing monitoring process to ensure the continuous security and integrity of the CBI program. The Citizenship by Investment Unit has also added value to the range of programs on offer by making available a residency program, which we just introduced over a month ago. We are committed to ensuring that St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be one of the most sought after citizenship by investment programs and destinations. Our passport is now ranked #1 in the OECS, #2 in CARICOM, behind the Bahamas, and #50 in the world out of 199 countries and territories. We are working very hard, and that is why we are confirmed by the IMF in its recently concluded Article 4 consultations. St. Kitts and Nevis attained the strongest growth and fiscal performance in the ECCU region in recent years. St. Kitts and Nevis' economy achieved a 3.2% growth in 2016. However, difficult international environment that we are in has seen many nations struggle with constrained growth rates. For example, our major source markets for goods and services, such as Canada, 1.3% in 2016, Japan, 1.0% in 2016, the United Kingdom, 1.8%, and also the United States, 1.6% in 2016. The IMF and the ECCB both note that our public debt is set to meet the ECCU's 60% of GDP target in 2018, way ahead of other ECCU countries. And the Federation's debt to GDP ratio stands now at 63.2%, which is the lowest in the ECCU region. In less than 2 years into our 5-year term, this government has paid off a $117.1 million debt with the IMF. And we paid it off to bring down and end what we consider a national disgrace. The IMF has also said that the strong macroeconomic policy and performance owes much to the robust CBI program, the inflows, as well as to overall prudent macroeconomic policies. And although the IMF pointed to conservative assumptions about future CBI flows, it has also encouragingly said that stronger than expected CBI inflows from the ongoing reforms could surprise us on the upside. Our task was to achieve a complete turnaround of the economy. And I might say you can see the signs of progress here and there. The growing economic prosperity of St. Kitts and Nevis is reflected in the largest ever job gains, rising incomes, and the solid rebound in consumer spending. For instance, sales in the wholesale and retail sector grew by 9.13% in 2015 compared to 0.35% in 2014. Every year now, we all hear the reports about record-breaking vehicle sales. We may very well have to watch that, so many cars on the road. But every year, we all see the annual reports that talk about the highest reported sales. The banking sector, too, is doing well. Customers' deposits have risen, and so have loans and advances. National Bank, in its 2016 annual report, said that, and I quote, "Liquidity remains very strong and available for new opportunities. And to this end, the bank has contracted the St. Kitts Nevis Development Bank to reactivate its Fresh Start program, for which demand has substantially exceeded initial expectations, and which offers financial support to new local enterprises which can significantly impact the local economy." I am happy to report that just last week, the Guyana-Brazil St. Kitts and Nevis Partial Scope Agreement, the PSA, is what I would consider in our final furlong. It has been protracted over some 8 years, and it was only last week that we had a team go down to Guyana, and your very own Jose Rosa was among the members of the team who discussed bringing this end and final implementation of the partial scope agreement, which will be, I believe, a great relief for our manufacturing sector. Our government values your continued partnership. We will continue to play our part in sustaining the momentum of the economy by creating and nurturing a safe environment for everyone. We will continue to approve concessions to small and medium-sized enterprises, which make up the engine of this economy. We value the Chamber of Industry and Commerce's engagement at fora such as the National Consultation on the Economy and joint meetings with the Cabinet and our national security apparatus. We understand that in order for an economy to operate at peak performance, all stakeholders must be engaged at their fullest capacities. And so through the improved partnerships with the private sector, the Team Unity government has made St. Kitts and Nevis a much better place to be. There is no turning back now. May God continue to protect our beloved St. Kitts and Nevis, and to God be the glory for the great things He has done and for the great things that have come about just shy of halfway through our 5-year contract with the people. And so may our hard work continue to please you, the members of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. I thank you very much.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.